Welcome, Frantonia. I'm so excited that you're here.
I'm happy to be here as well, Mitzi. I just whispered in her ear, congratulations, because I remember when this was just an idea. So I'm just so very proud of you, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, thank you. Well, I would like for you to share briefly a little bit of your background and how, because I know you've had a breakdown.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to share that breakdown, I would love to hear that breakdown and how you got through that.
First of all, I just want to give a shout out to all the native Las Vegans in the room. I am a native of Las Vegas. Remember when so much of the city that we now look at was just dirt and desert. So grew up here in Las Vegas, the only girl in a family of 3 brothers, and both my parents are in the gaming industry, so grew up with this whole illusion. The city of illusion is what I now call it. Many years later, I ended up moving to Atlanta, and in Atlanta, just kind of reinvented myself, if you will. Was in school to finally complete a dream that I had for myself at that time. Had met a wonderful man, was engaged to be married, had a beautiful daughter, and one day I got a letter in the mail. And this letter, the outside of the envelope to me was very familiar just because of some work that I had done in the past here in Las Vegas with a local nonprofit. And in the letter was a diagnosis of HIV. And in one fell swoop, everything that I had aspired to, everything that I had worked towards, everything that was my joy and my bliss, in one fell swoop was gone. I fell into a depression that I can't, even to this day, find the words to explain or to describe. I was physically present, but I was an absentee parent to my daughter because I had gone into this man who loved me enough to even want to continue to be with me throughout this diagnosis, I shut down to. 2 weeks after the diagnosis, I found out that I was expecting. And this was something that I dearly wanted. And in the state that I was in, I made a choice that I probably would not have otherwise made. 3 months later, I got another letter in the mail saying, oops, we made a mistake. And even now, this happened to me in 1999. Even now, as I recount the story and share it, I get a lump in my throat. Because in that moment, there was a huge sense of relief, and everyone around me felt that in that moment, my burden had been lifted. But for me, that's when it began. I went from being depressed and broken, suicidal, to angry and homicidal. And I don't say that in jest. I literally mean, I remember that was a period of time when there was a gentleman who had gone into an office building in the Atlanta area and done the mass killing. And I remember sitting with a group of people, and they were talking about it from a place of what a tragedy, and out of my mouth came, I could see myself doing that. And in that moment, I knew I needed to go get help. And my journey to recovery started in it's funny how everybody's talked about their spiritual connection. My journey to recovery started in a religious science church. And I enrolled in a class called Lessons in Truth. And my very first assignment in that class, in this broken state, was to research the meaning of my name. My first name is Frantonia, and growing up as a kid, I was always teased about it. I actually hated it. People called me Fran for a period of time. When I got into middle school, I didn't like Fran. You called me by my middle name, so it was Monique. I was schizophrenic around my name. But when I did the research in this class, what I found was Frantonia means strong woman with a purpose. And that began the journey, because I believe, as a lot of the ancient cultures, when they name their children, they speak the child's destiny into them. It's the selection process of the name. So I began to really, go on this journey of recovery, and started studying a lot of things in metaphysics, and started doing a lot of research around women and dis-ease in the body. And what I found about HIV, STDs, and STIs is that the common denominator is that the majority of people, particularly women who experience dis-ease around their sexual organs or STIs, it's rooted in a lack of self-worth. Now, growing up, I was very much like Lillian. I was a bat. I was the only girl. I still am. My father's princess. But I grew up in a family, like many of us, where what went on the inside stayed on the inside. We didn't talk about it. We went outside, we put on the costume, we pretty it up, and we pretend it's all good. And a lot of what went on in my home was rooted in patriarchy. So my 3 brothers dominated the home. I was the girl, so I fit into the role. I took care of everybody. I served everybody. I nurtured everyone. I gave to everyone in my home. There were distinct roles. And as much as many of us grew up where that was normal, it is my belief that it has an effect on the psyche and the spirit and the soul of a woman or a little girl. So I did what I was taught to do. I prettied it up. And on the inside, I was broken for a long period of time during my life. I was broken. And doing the research on the name and doing the research on the diseases, it led me on this journey to heal that part of me, to heal the part of me that is broken in so many of us as women, but we don't even know it's broken because it's become normal. It's become normal to give ourselves away. It's become normal to walk around in a place of deficit. It's become normal to accept a mediocre lifestyle. So that was the breakdown. That was the breakdown.
That's huge. I mean, to be diagnosed with something and it's a life-threatening, thing, and then to find out later, oh, oops, I mean, what a journey you had to go through on that. Wow, I applaud you that you're still here and that you did get help. And, so your breakthrough during that has led you to create the First Lady of Empowerment. And so what makes a person a First Lady in her own life?
Even that was a journey to creating the First Lady Lifestyle and Leadership Academy, and really where the First Lady brand came from. It came from the opposite side of the coin of what we as women have been taught. We've been taught to put ourselves last. So the First Lady lifestyle is really about loving yourself enough to be what I've coined as sacredly selfish. And if I can just explain that for a moment, and I'm gonna paraphrase from the Holy Scripture. We are told to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. And people say that, and I hear people say it in such a flippant way, but really if we dissect it, it means that in order for me to love you as I love myself, I must first love myself. And this is the ultimate place of love. So before I give to you, I must be so filled up, my cup must be so full, that I don't even serve you from my cup, I serve you from my saucer. That is a difficult concept for many women because we've been told that it is in our nurture, it's in our nature to nurture. It's in our nature to give ourselves away. And I simply challenge that and say, I feel that it is an issue of a lack of self-worth for us to do that. The problem is it's been called normal. We've been set up and expected to do that. And when we do that, because our bodies are all about energy, when we give away to somebody else, when I continually serve you, when I continually give to you, and there's nothing being refilled or refueled in me at a certain point, this energetic system is going to break down. So the thoughts that we carry in our minds, a lot of us say yes, when in our minds we really want to say no. A lot of us do things and commit ourselves to things that we don't really want to be committed to, so the energy that we carry around starts to manifest in our body as disease. So the number one killer of women is heart disease. 50 years ago, that wasn't the case. We've taken on this masculinized way of doing things, and we have shut down the feminine energy. We've shut down the intuition. We've shut down our internal guidance system as women, which is incredibly valuable, especially in this time when there's this awakening, this calling of the divine feminine to be awakened and to be heard. The problem is we are still trying to fit that into a broken paradigm. So the First Lady Lifestyle and Leadership Academy is about teaching women to first love themselves enough to listen to the divine guidance that is on the inside of them, connect to their uniquely divine and powerful purpose, and attach that to a business, because I believe that empowerment takes place only when we are economically empowered. Which leads me, thank you, leads me to another point about the issue of self-worth and self-value with women. So many of us have a huge heart to give, and that's all good. However, we live in a society that still operates on a system of money. And if I'm giving to you when I can't pay my light bill, something's wrong with that. If I keep showing up and saying, I just want to be of service, I don't really care if I get paid, let's examine that. Because the reality is, I can help more people as a millionaire than I can as a pauper. I'll say that again. The reality, ladies, is we can help more people when we are empowered through the energy of money, because money is really just an exchange for the service you provide to the world. It shows up when you unblock or you undam the channel that allows money to flow to us as currency. So I can serve more people when I have more of that energetic currency to utilize in this world. The system that we live in requires it. So the First Lady Lifestyle and Leadership Academy is about that. It's about really tuning into you, the individual, finding out what your passion is, healing the blocks and the wounds around that so that you can move into creating a business that will allow you to leave a legacy of wealth.
That's great. That's very empowering. And so, Frantonia, if people wanted to connect with you or to, as far as your services, the Leadership Academy, what do you offer today?
The first thing I'm offering is a complimentary 90-day coaching program. I'm doing a drawing for that. So anyone who visits my booth and registers, you will be entered into a drawing for a giveaway for a coaching program. The next thing is that on the 27th of March, I will be launching what I call the Take Back Your Life Challenge. It's a 6-week group coaching program via teleconference and webinar, where we really do a deep dive into some of the things that I just discussed. We do what I call peeling back the pretty. We get to the nitty-gritty on what the blocks are that have kept you stuck and, basically, like I said, giving away your life. Included in that is a 2-day or a weekend intensive that's taking place here in Las Vegas fairly soon. I don't have a date locked down just yet, but a 2-day intensive where it's really intimate. I create a sacred space where women can come and really explore those challenges and move into creating profit in their business once they move past those challenges. So make sure that you visit me at my booth. You can also visit my website at FrantoniaPollins.com. Again, it's FrantoniaPollins.com.
Thank you so much, Frantonia, for sharing your story. Thank you.